Listen, Andrea, I don't want to do YouTube videos. I do not want to spend my days creating reels and making posts for Instagram. I do not want to go live on Facebook. What in the world do you say to someone like that? Well, I got the answer, and if you want to know what it is, stick around. I'm going to share it with you. Hey guys, I'm Andrea Patrick, the BU Boss, and you are in the right place if you are a leader, not a follower. If you want to find the intersection between personal life and business life so that you can have a quality of life. Or if you want to figure out how in the world to leverage your personal brand anywhere so that you can have confidence in knowing that you are going to knock it out of the park no matter what you do. If that's you, this is where you need to be. Stick around, click that subscription button, click the notification bell so that you never miss an episode, and let's get into today's video. Now listen, I put makeup on just for this video, but trust and believe from the waist down, I'm in scrubs and some yoga pants, because while I'm sharing this valuable information with you about how you can get around doing all the fluff and stuff over on Instagram and YouTube and Pinterest and all the things and just get down to business, I'm going to be packing because I got to go out of town. So come along with me and I'm going to share with you what I think you can do to be credible on LinkedIn. That's right, guys. I am headed out of town and I have got to pull double duty. So while I'm sharing these tips with you, I'm also going to be packing, or at least preparing my clothes to pack, because we're leaving first thing in the morning. So before we even get started, if you are not familiar, maybe you are creative like me and you spend a lot of your time actually creating content, you're doing videos, you're creating podcasts, you're loving the idea of posting pictures on Instagram and Reels and doing stories, and maybe that is your jam and you just have not been able to get into LinkedIn. Well, I want to share with you some things that maybe you don't know about LinkedIn before we dive right in. First of all, LinkedIn is definitely a platform where prospects are looking to make connections with credible people. They want to learn more about the people that they're doing business with. So if you think of this as a way that they are doing their research on you to find out if you are a credible person or not, even if they're following you on Instagram or if they're following you on TikTok or any of those things, if they're a viable business, odds are they are going to check to see if you have a LinkedIn profile, because for one reason or another, LinkedIn profiles make you just seem that much more credible, okay? Also, it is a fantastic place for you to establish yourself as a leader in your industry or a leader in your space, okay? So you want to be that thought leader on the platform, and that means as a thought leader, you want to be taken seriously. So your efforts here on LinkedIn are not going to be, just to play around, just to kind of goof off and show your personality. Here on LinkedIn, the goal really is to show off how credible you are to your audience so that they will want to do business with you. Another thing about LinkedIn is odds are, unless you are looking for people to hire, you are really looking at doing business to business marketing. So these are other small business owners that you either want to make your customers, you want to partner with, maybe you want them to sponsor events if you're a nonprofit, and sometimes you're looking for investors to give you money or to just flat out purchase the business that you have. So LinkedIn is definitely a place where you're going to put your big girl and boy pants on and show up as the adult you are to grow your business. And so you must have credibility. You want to establish yourself as an authority in your space, which means you need to bring your A game when you hit the LinkedIn platform. So with that being said, now let me get into how you can actually be more credible on LinkedIn by leveraging your personal brand. Okay, I got down on the floor because I actually do need to start pulling things out. But the very first thing is you do not get a second chance to make a first impression on LinkedIn. It is viable that when you show up on this space, you are showing up as your best self. So that means you want to curate content that is credible, it is factual, you're watching your P's and Q's on this platform. You don't want to show up in your posts with grammatical errors or with sending the wrong message or tone with your images. You definitely want to dot every I, cross every T, especially with your long form articles when you're showing up. You want to make sure that you are capturing the essence of who you are and your brand and and showing people that you really do mean business. People are watching, so you have to show up with your A game. This means not just your images, not just the words or the articles that you write, but the pictures of yourself. You want to show up looking like the professional that you are, not just someone who's trying to get business, but someone who is trying to gain and earn respect of their colleagues and their partners, potential customers. You want to show up and show out as someone that they know they can depend on. So definitely remember that if you want to leverage your personal brand, you've got to remember that you do not get a second chance to make a first impression. Remember that you're not just talking to regular customers, you're doing B2B business, you're doing B2B marketing. So other business owners, they're not laymen to the goings ons of an entrepreneur. So if you're doing it wrong, doing it, shady, if you will, they'll be able to snuff that out. So you want to make sure, like I said, that you're remembering that you're talking to other business owners that you maybe want to do business with. You're talking to business owners that you may want to sponsor events, business owners who you may want to invest in your projects, or business owners who you may want to just flat out purchase your business from you. So you can't just show up any kind of way. You do have to show up with your A game. So I want you to remember that. Also, remember that nonverbal messaging is really key here, because I told you at the top of this video, sometimes people are coming from other platforms to see if you're legit. If they got a referral for you, they may very well check your profile out on LinkedIn. That is where they're going to see if you're credible. The other platforms, they may go to see if you are consistent, but if you want to leverage your personal brand on LinkedIn, you need to bring your A game every single time. You want to make sure that you are double checking and triple checking your spellings, your grammar. You are making sure that the information you're putting out is factual. Even if you're not quoting specifically, you want to have reference points to the content you are sharing. So if people want to check those facts, they can. Odds are they won't. But you want to appear credible. Even if you have all the facts, people may not check it, but you want to make sure that it's there for those who want to check it. The next thing you want to do is you want to remember that you are the expert in your lane. What do I mean by this, Andrea? Well, if you have listened to me for any period of time, if you're new here, I'm gonna give you the tea. You are the sum of your influence, experience, perspective, and passion. No one has that but you. It's like a fingerprint. So you can't be disproven if your experience, your influence, your perspective, and your passion are telling you that ABC is the way to do it. Because your ABC is going to be based on your experience, going to be based on your epiphany journey, a problem that you've either solved for yourself or for someone else. So beyond a shadow of a doubt, you know it works. So if you come from that place and know that you are the expert in your lane, nobody else can be the expert in your lane, what you'll get from that is two things. One, you'll be able to hold your head up high, have confidence, and really speak intelligently on your topics. But also, you know that you have absolutely no competition, because nobody else has the exact same combination of influence, experience, perspective, and passion that you do. So remember to be the expert in your lane. Do not let anybody take that away from you. And also, you should be confident in the relationship you have with the problem. Again, I mentioned your epiphany journey. What problem are you solving and what connection do you have to it? So be confident in your connection to the problem, whatever it is, however you got it, because it's from that place that you will be able to speak confidently and speak expertly in your lane. I want to share with you my epiphany moment. It wasn't 30 years ago, but it was around the age of 30. Was when I started to feel like, you know what, I'm an adult, and as long as I can deal with the consequences of my actions, I could pretty much do what I want to do. Now, from that came the self-reflection that I needed to do to unpack my baggage that I had from childhood and past relationships and repack my bag with the strength, the desires, the limitations, and the non-negotiables that I wanted to frame my life with. And I was able to operate within that framework, and that's where I found my success. That's where I found my ability to say no and put a period appropriate behind it. And when I found that, I was able to establish boundaries necessary to manage my expectations and the expectations of other people. I was able to build my business and create systems and processes that reflected my boundaries, and I made it easier for me to operate my business. And so now I use that epiphany moment to actually teach my customers and my clients how to do the same. So I know I am the authority in that space. I am this authority in that lane. And that is how I am connected to the same problems that I know my clients are experiencing. And I can speak from an authentic place and help them solve their problem as well. So if you connect yourself to your business, I call it putting the BU in your business. If you do that, then you will definitely be able to walk in your credibility here on LinkedIn. The last thing that I think you can do to leverage yourself on LinkedIn to appear and be more credible is to really understand the different communication styles. Because part of communicating is sharing a message, but also having that message received. And in order for that message to be received, you want to make sure you are speaking on the same frequency that the audience is listening to. Okay, so that means you can't go into it speaking or communicating in a way that is really salesy if that's not what your audience is looking for. You can't go in there speaking very aggressively and saying a bunch of you shoulds and I woulds, because maybe people will not receive that. You want the people, your audience, listening to your content, seeing your content, to actually absorb it, take heed to it, and that is how you begin to build credibility, is that people trust you enough that they're going to use what you give them, apply it to their situation to see if it works, and then they'll come back when it does, and it'll kind of make you the expert that you are, because you were able to get your message across to them. So that means you got to know who your audience is. That means that you have to know the language they're using so that you can communicate that language back to them. And then you also need to know the tones and things so that you don't appear too salesy and you appear as if you are the authority on the subject matter that you are talking about. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. I sat here and did this whole thing and did not pack a single thing here. So I really need to get going and get packing because we're leaving early in the morning. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and then let me know in the comments how much you enjoyed it. How are you appearing credible? Put that in the comments below. Type I am credible on LinkedIn, and we will get back to another session next week about how you can do something else. Remember, the month of May, we're talking about the May B's. This week we are using the Be Credible here on LinkedIn so that you can leverage your personal brand here on the LinkedIn social media platform. Now let's go over these one last time. The first thing that you want to remember to be credible on LinkedIn is that you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Definitely do your due diligence, dot your I's, cross your T's, and make sure that you are showing up ready to do business. Next, you want to make sure that you are remembering that you're the expert in your lane. No one has the influence, experience, perspective, or passion you have for your subject matter or your solution. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Maintain confidence and pull from your own epiphany journey. And then the last thing is you want to communicate in a way that your audience can absorb and receive what it is you're saying. So you need to understand how to communicate with different personality types, and you definitely need to listen to your audience to hear and see the type of communication they're doing currently in the space so that you can mimic that. That way they can be attracted to what you're saying, they recognize its value, and they can absorb the message and potentially purchase from you and help you in your business. So that does it for me. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, again, give it a big thumbs up. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And I'll see you here back again next week. Thanks, guys.